Greetings, seekers of the macabre, to yet another spine-chilling foray into the abyss of horror. This evening's narrative blurs the boundary of the visible and the void, teetering precariously on the edge of madness and reason. Draw nearer, if your spirit dares, as I unveil a tale that is as tangible as the darkness that surrounds us, for those who dare to believe. Steel your nerves for the whispered horrors of the black-eyed children.
The moon hung heavy, a pale specter in the sky, its light interrupted by the thick claws of barren branches tapping against my window. It was the hour when night's grip is tightest, just before the dawn. A knock shattered the silence, persistent, demanding. Not the eager rapping of a friend, but something far colder. Why now? Who could it be? The thought circled in my mind as I descended the stairs, the knocks growing louder, impatient. The door's peephole revealed two children, cloaked in the inky hue of an unfathomable darkness, looking down. I opened the door, a sliver of reason suggesting I help. But as the gap widened, their heads lifted in unison, revealing eyes as black as voids, windows to a soulless abyss. Their gaze didn't just feel cold, it felt ancient, malignant. "May we enter?" The girl's voice didn't fit her small frame. It was resonant, echoing through the corridors of my mind. Every instinct screamed to shut the door, but their black eyes held me captive. My home, once my sanctuary, became their domain the moment they crossed its threshold. The air turned viscous, as if reality itself was thickening, warping. They sat motionless, their presence an ever-growing cancerous silence that threatened to consume the room, consume me. Their eyes, webs of unspoken horrors, spun a story of darkness primeval, and I was ensnared. A feeling of violation pervaded, as if by merely looking at me, they peeled back layers of my being, exposing me to the chill of the void. Paranoia whispered sweet insanities. Were they even children? What malevolence lurked beneath those obsidian orbs? Their stillness was predatory, a lioness stalking the tall grass of my splintering psyche. I felt myself fracturing, splintering under the weight of their silence. Every tick of the clock was a thunderous roar in the oppressive quiet. The stillness was a living thing, with each beat of silence gnawing at my sanity, clawing at my skull. The moment one of them shifted, a whisper of cloth against cloth, I felt a primal terror. It was the anticipation of a scream before the mouth opens, the moment before the guillotine falls. They stood as one entity, and I knew. This was the fulcrum upon which my fate would tilt. It was then the family dog, my ever-loyal companion, charged at them with a ferocity I had never seen. The black-eyed children merely turned their gaze upon him, and he stopped, whimpering, slinking away with a whimper that spoke of broken spirits. I realized then that their real intent was never to enter my home, but my mind. I had become their host, a vessel through which they whispered their silent malevolence. With strength drawn from reserves I didn't know I possessed, I found my voice, a ragged, forceful expulsion of fear. "Get out!" They regarded me, head tilt synchronized, considering, calculating, before standing. As they crossed back over the threshold, I felt a portion of my soul tear away with them, leaving a hollow echo in its wake. With every step they took into the night, the world seemed to reassemble itself, but it was an illusion of normality. They had left their mark. I stood for hours after they vanished, the door ajar, the night air an invading force. Sleep became an estranged friend. I'd lay awake, listening for the return of that haunting knock. It never came, but the shadow they cast over my life was a shroud that refused to lift. They were the heralds of chaos, their visit an omen. My town fell into decay, neighbors turned against one another, shadows seemed to lurk just out of sight, and whispers filled the night air. Those children, if that's what they were, had brought something with them, an insidiousness that seeped into the very soil. This is the account of my visitation, a story I share with you as a solemn warning. Beware the knock at midnight. Beware the abyss that gazes from behind innocent eyes. For some horrors are too deep to be seen, except by those who have looked into the eyes of a void. I implore you, should you hear their knock, do not answer, for some things once invited in, refuse to leave.
Well, my intrepid viewers, it appears our hapless friend has found a new kinship with the restless nocturnal souls. Sleep will forever elude them, as it might elude you now. This morbid tale is a grim reminder. Never dismiss the midnight murmurings, the dark whispers of the night that claw at the door of your consciousness. If by some twist of fate you enjoyed this descent into madness, why not seal your fate with us? Hit like, pledge your allegiance with a subscribe, and summon notifications with a ring of the bell. Consider it your covenant with the night, because who knows, the next knock at your door could be a subscription reminder, or perhaps something a bit more sinister. Don't let the black-eyed children be your only visitors tonight.